The September housing market update is ginormous, the kind I only produce a handful of times each year. Follow along as I walk you through current housing market conditions and conclude with a specific demonstration of how current conditions could be exploited. If you own a home or plan to own one sometime soon, this is what you need to know. I address the recent month's year-over-year home sales, current year-to-date home sales, and how they compare with years prior. I break down the current housing market activity by area and price range, address the relative supply of homes for sale, and use graphs to explain why buyers are having such a hard time finding homes today. I show some surprising activity in the luxury homes market and explain what it means for high-end home sellers and buyers. Furthermore, I explain how real estate seasonality normally works and why it's going to be crushed in 2020. I graph 50 years of mortgage interest rates and then show you exactly what today's lower rates are doing to monthly savings and home affordability. This report is ginormous, so sit back and relax with a cool drink, kick up your feet, and be prepared to get more insight into this 2020 housing market than you've ever experienced before. Hi, I'm Joe Manausa, author of The Business of Getting Business and creator of Manausa.com, where I have helped tens of thousands of people buy and sell homes. I would like to help you too. If you already are a subscriber, thank you and welcome back. If you're not a subscriber, please consider becoming one now. We offer the most thorough and accurate housing market reports on YouTube, plus answers to your real estate frequently asked questions, and we also provide virtual tours of some of the most beautiful homes in Tallahassee. Simply hit subscribe to get started, and the bell, so you are the most informed buyer or seller in your next real estate transaction. As I explained at the beginning of this video, this report is ginormous, and it contains more housing market information than you can find anywhere else. Please help this video be even better by contributing comments and questions below. And while you're down there, go ahead and mash down the like button too. This housing market report will walk you through the big picture first and then drill down to specific conditions that could be very important to you if you decide to sell and or buy a home. We'll start with the housing market performance for the previous month and then key in on overall conditions for people buying and selling homes. This first graph in today's report shows how each month's sales compared with the same month the year prior. We refer to this as the year-over-year home sales report. Year-over-year home sales fell nearly 10% in August, registering the fourth month of declines in the past 5 months. In years past, if we saw a continuous decline like we're experiencing now, we were able to clearly show that the demand for homes was dropping. But that's not the case in 2020. Demand remains strong. It's the supply side slowing the housing market. We need more sellers to enter the market, whether this comes from existing homes or the new homes market. We need more inventory. The next graph shows the number of homes sold during the first 8 months of each year. It allows us to compare the real estate market at the end of August with 18 previous years, each through August as well. Home sales are down 3.9% through August of 2020 when compared to 2019 through August, and right now are about at the same level as what was recorded in 2003. When we compare 2020 to the past 18 years, 2020 trails just 7 other non-pandemic years. These first two graphs have shown strong demand for homes in Tallahassee. So next, we'll look at 2 graphs that will help better show the reality of the activity in the housing market. Take a look at this graph of current market conditions. It shows the supply of homes relative to the current rate of demand, so we call it the relative supply of homes. We measure relative supply in months of supply, meaning the number of months it would take to consume the current supply of homes for sale. In order to make this easier to understand, I'm going to assemble this graph piece by piece and show you what you're seeing. Here, we see the red line shows the number of homes for sale each month. That's the supply. When we talk about supply and demand, the listings are the supply, and you can see how they've been trending down for nearly 15 years and have hit an all-time low. There's just not much for sale right now. Next, we add the green line. It shows the number of homes sold each month. That's the demand. And we can see demand has been generally rising since the market bottomed in 2012. When we divide the demand into supply, the result gives us the relative supply of homes shown in blue. Each month we record the months of supply of homes for sale based upon current listings and recent sales, supply and demand. Look at how glutted the market was from 2006 through 2014, where the relative supply of homes peaked at nearly 14 months of supply, and then contrast that with current conditions where the relative supply is low. Now, we take the one-year average of the relative supply to remove seasonality, and we can see this plotted in yellow. Most real estate experts consider equilibrium, or a balanced market, as one with 6 months of supply of homes for sale. We spent little time at equilibrium, and now for the past 6 years, the overall market has favored home sellers. I noticed that the relative supply rose in August, and that's not normal. With normal seasonality, we see the relative supply of homes decline from July to August. In fact, it's only one of 3 times this has occurred in the past 15 years. Is this the start of a new trend? Are we seeing supply finally starting to rise? It's far too early to speculate, but if you're worried about a new housing bubble, this is what the first step would look like. Fortunately, we post housing market updates regularly, so our subscribers will be able to see the next big market change happening before anybody else knows it's even brewing. The current relative supply of 3.5 months has buyers scrambling to find homes the moment they hit the market. It would be healthy for the market to see more inventory added. Now finally, we put the entire graph back together and it all makes more sense, right? Right now there are 3.8 months of supply of homes for sale, which is less than we had 1 year ago. So while relative supply rose in August, it was not enough to turn the direction of the relative supply of homes for sale. Help me get the word out to Tallahassee homeowners who want to move. Now is the time to sell. The following table shows the relative supply of homes for sale in Tallahassee. Again, this merely means the supply of homes for sale relative to the current rate of demand. The relative supply of homes is a number that shows us the months of supply of homes for sale, the supply of homes relative to the current rate of demand. A measure of 6.0 is traditionally considered a balanced market, where neither sellers nor buyers have an advantage in the market. When the relative supply drops below 6.0 months, the market moves to a seller's market. The opposite is true when the number grows above 6 months. The market moves to favor buyers. Overall, the entire market is undersupplied, and all 4 quadrants in Tallahassee are in a seller's market. Homes priced above $550 in all quadrants remain in a buyer's market. Homes priced from $400 to $550 are balanced overall, but it's interesting that there's no quadrant in Tallahassee in this range that is actually balanced. What you should retain from this table is that there is not an overall market condition that applies to all homes. We have a buyer's market, we have a seller's market, we have a balanced market. These conditions are all happening simultaneously. Ensure that you know the specific housing market conditions for the home you want to buy or sell. This graph is identical to the home sales activity graph we assembled previously, with the exception that this one is limited to homes priced above $600,000. Unlike the homes priced among the bottom 90% of the market, the top of the market remains in control of buyers. There are far more high-end homes for sale than there are high-end buyers. Nevertheless, the top of the market is having a banner year. If you watched our recent luxury homes report, then you know that 2020 is on pace to be the best year ever for the very top of the Tallahassee housing market. So don't let these 2 facts fool you. Number 1, buyers do control the luxury homes market, but 2, less so than they have in the past. Now is the best market we've ever seen for selling a luxury home in Tallahassee. This next graph shows the percentage of home sales that fall in each of Tallahassee's 4 quadrants, shown over the years. It allows us to find trends for where people are moving. Northeast Tallahassee continues to dominate the home sales in Tallahassee, though it is weakening as home prices rise. What used to be more than 50% of all homes sold were in Northeast Tallahassee, it's now down to 48%. Northwest Tallahassee holds about 31% of all homes sold, meaning nearly 80% of all home sales are on the north side of town. The 21% on the south side of town breaks down to about 16% in southeast Tallahassee and 5% in southwest Tallahassee. The next graph shows the supply and demand for homes in the Tallahassee housing market arranged by price range. Tallahassee is in a very strong seller's market for homes priced below $400,000 and a strong seller's market under $550,000. We don't see buyer's market conditions until we get above the $550,000 mark. The next 4 graphs we show will be just like this one, but they will be focused on a specific quadrant of the Tallahassee housing market. Northeast Tallahassee is in a very strong seller's market for homes priced below $550,000 and a buyer's market above $550,000. I can tell you that we're even seeing multiple offers on $600,000 homes in Northeast Tallahassee. Northwest Tallahassee is in a very strong seller's market for homes priced below $250,000 and a seller's market under $350,000. We don't see buyer's market conditions in Northwest Tallahassee until we get near the $400,000 mark. Southeast Tallahassee is in a very strong seller's market for homes priced below $400,000. We don't see buyer's market conditions in Southeast Tallahassee until we get near the $450,000 mark. Southwest Tallahassee is in a very strong seller's market for homes priced below $150,000. We don't see a buyer's market condition in Southwest Tallahassee until we get near the $250,000 mark. Of all the quadrants in our market, Southwest Tallahassee is the furthest behind in the housing market recovery that began in 2012. The chaos that we see in the relative supply of homes in Southwest Tallahassee is due to the few number of sales that occur there each month. The next graph shows how competitive each price range is in the Tallahassee housing market. If you are thinking about buying a home or about selling your home, this graph will show you what you should expect in the market. It shows the percentage of homes already under contract in each price range. The green lines measure the number of listed homes that are already under contract with buyers, while the red lines measure the homes without contracts. Nearly 50% of all listed homes are already under contract, so whether buying or selling, you should know that it's highly competitive out there and you need to be prepared in order to get the best deal possible. You would think that with these strong seller's market conditions, we would see a high number of homes sell at full price or above market value. That's not the case, however. Too many sellers are leaving money on the table. You can learn how to avoid this by watching my video and using a sound pre-marketing campaign. So far, I believe I've made it clear that the supply of homes for sale is far too low and the competition for available listings is fierce among buyers. Our next two graphs report how this imbalance impacts the home buying experience. This graph shows the percentage of homes sold each month. During normal market conditions, about 17% of the homes sell each month. But look to the right side of the graph, we're often doubling that amount in recent months. Homes are selling fast. If there were no seasonality in real estate, we would expect to see about 1/6 of the homes sell each month. That's about 17%. Because seasonality is real, we actually expect to see roughly 4 months above 17%, 4 months near 17%, and 4 months below 17% during the different times of the year. This graph makes it clear. These are not normal times. When the market was coming out of its collapse, we went more than 8 years without a single month falling within the normal range. There were just too many homes on the market, and it was common for fewer than 1/10 of them to sell in a given month. Now, low inventory levels have the opposite results. About 1 in 3 homes listed for sale sold in each of the past 5 months. That means that when buyers go looking at home, there's really not that much out there that's not already under contract with other buyers. This next graph shows that more homes for sale in Tallahassee are under contract with buyers than ever before. That means slim pickings for buyers and favorable market conditions for sellers. Nothing is more frustrating as a buyer than finding the perfect home, only to find out somebody else beat you to it. Nearly 1/2 of all listed homes for sale are already under contract with buyers. The green line above in the graph shows that 48% of the current listings are already under contract, and the one-year trend of the under contract percentage is at an all-time high of more than 41%. Hopefully we'll see more sellers enter the market these next few months and perhaps see a dip in this ratio. But don't be surprised to see if it continues higher if too few sellers arrive. The following two tables make it very easy to do a supply and demand analysis for your specific price range and area of town that you live or want to live. Both tables segment the market by quadrant and by price range. The one on the left shows the average number of homes that sell each month, while the one on the right shows the current number of homes for sale. Let's start at the bottom right of each table. There are 1,284 homes for sale right now in the Tallahassee housing market, and 337 are selling each month. When we divide sales into active listings, we can see that more than a quarter are selling each month, which is about 57% higher than normal. These tables are strong evidence for buyers that they need to be ready to go when they're serious about buying a home. While you don't necessarily need to be in a hurry to buy a home, you do need to move with great urgency when you find a home you would like to buy. The market will have brought you to that home because of its relative value, so you can be certain that the market will be bringing many other buyers to compete with you. These sellers' market conditions require buyers to make prompt decisions and move aggressively when the right home is found. As stated earlier, there are seasonal changes that influence the housing market. This next graph identifies the percentage of listed homes that are sold each month for the 5-year period of 2013 through 2017. Think of this as what should happen during normal times. As you can see, we have now started what would traditionally be the slower 6 months of the year, from September through February. Based upon buyer activity in the market right now, I'm going to plan on 2020 being completely different. There is both pent-up demand from buyers who have not yet been able to secure a home in this uber-competitive market, as well as pent-up supply from sellers who are waiting for the pandemic to pass. Many of these hesitant sellers have seen their friends and family members move safely to a new home and take advantage of the historically low mortgage interest rates. I expect to see new inventory come in during the final quarter of 2020 at a higher rate than we would normally see. We're heading into the final section of this video, and I'm sure you're going to take away critical knowledge from this last graph and table. Please take a moment to like this video if you have not done so already. It is really important. It tells YouTube that this video is worth promoting across its network. Thank you. The final graph and tables in today's housing market report represent the stimulus that is bringing buyers to the market despite the pandemic occurring all around the world. The mortgage graph shows nearly 50 years of monthly mortgage interest rates. During this time, we've seen them as high as 18.45% and as low as 2.94%, the current rate. Over the past 50 years, the average rate has come down to 7.93%, a full 5% higher than today's rate. We saw a new record low mortgage interest rate recorded in August, and I want to show you exactly what it means to today's home buyers. It's probably more significant than you might imagine and might just be the aha moment for you during this video. The tables shown here allow us to do separate studies of the impact of low mortgage interest rates. First, we show the monthly savings of buyers getting today versus rates we've seen in the recent past, while the second shows how buying power will fall when mortgage interest rates begin to return to normal. The table on the left was built to show a $300,000 loan and the impact of changing mortgage interest rates on that borrower's monthly payment. If rates were to move up 1 full percent to a still very low rate of 3.94%, that buyer's payment would go up $167 per month. That's 13% higher. When rates return to the 50-year average, that buyer's payment would be nearly 70% higher, and that's more than $800. This is not a small deal to most people that I know. Perhaps a more appropriate way to better understand changing interest rates, though, can be found in the table on the right. My experience selling homes in Tallahassee for the past 30 years has taught me that most buyers purchase as much home as they can get based upon what they can borrow. So instead of seeing mortgage payments rise, we'll see this borrower's loan amount drop to keep the payment the same. So a buyer who can borrow $300,000 today will only be able to borrow $265,000 when interest rates rise 1%. If the buyer waits until rates return to the 50-year average, then the buyer will be able to borrow less than $180,000. This buying power, strengthened by today's low mortgage interest rates, is the primary reason demand has remained so strong during the pandemic. Had there been no COVID-19, we might have doubled the buyers in the market. If you have been holding off selling, then it likely means you've been holding off buying too. If you are strong enough to pay cash, then this is not necessarily a big deal. But if you plan to finance your next home, you should strongly consider getting your home sold and getting into the next one with today's cheap money. I hope our September 2020 housing market report has given you insight in today's conditions. Do you have any questions you'd like answered in this or other housing market reports? If so, you can leave a comment below or give us a call anytime. Please remember to subscribe to our channel so that you get our newest reports when they're posted. If you'd like to see the Luxury Homes report that I mentioned earlier, you can view it by clicking on the box at the top left. Click the box below it to see answers to questions that I've received from viewers just like you.